Shedeur Sanders, draft bias, and why not all failures are equal. Shedeur Sanders has become one of the most polarizing quarterbacks in football. Depending on who you ask, he is either a struggling quarterback who confirms every concern scouts had, or a young player surviving one of the most difficult environments in the sport. The disagreement is not about effort. It is not about toughness. And it is not even really about statistics. It is about how failure is assigned. Most quarterback evaluation begins with outcomes, completions, sacks, interceptions, wins and losses. But outcomes are not the same thing as responsibility. And when we fail to separate the two, we confuse context with capability. That confusion defines the public evaluation of Shedeur Sanders. When he throws an interception, the immediate question becomes, what did Shedeur do wrong? But rarely do we ask, was the ball tipped at the line? Was the receiver late or off his route? Was the quarterback hit as he released the ball? Did the play design create a viable option at all? All interceptions are treated the same. They are not. A quarterback throwing under immediate pressure is not the same as a quarterback missing a clean pocket read. A sack caused by instant penetration is not the same as holding the ball too long. When analysis ignores this distinction, quarterbacks in difficult environments are punished twice, once by the defense, and again by the narrative. To correct this, we separate outcome from fault. This produces what we call a fault-adjusted quarterback score. The idea is simple. Before judging the quarterback, we ask, how much of this play was actually under his control? We adjust for tipped passes, receiver drops, hits during release, and unblocked pressure. When we do that for Shedeur Sanders, something important happens. A significant portion of what is labeled as poor quarterback play no longer belongs entirely to him. That does not make the mistakes disappear. It places them accurately. Next, we account for environment. Quarterbacks do not play in neutral conditions. Shedeur Sanders has consistently faced high pressure rates, short time to throw, limited receiver separation, inconsistent run support, and predictable play calling. These factors matter. Quarterbacks in clean systems with protection, spacing, and balance are not solving the same problem. Comparing raw production across those environments is analytically invalid. When we adjust for environment difficulty using pressure rate, time to throw, and separation metrics, Shedeur's efficiency stabilizes. Not elite, but competitive. Then comes the factor almost no public analysis includes: media pressure. Narratives are not passive. When a quarterback is framed early as bad, every mistake reinforces the story. Aggression declines, hesitation increases, fear of failure replaces trust. This is especially true for young quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders operates under sustained negative framing. This is not hypothetical. It is measurable through language frequency, tone, and repetition. We call this the media pressure index. High media pressure increases cognitive load and suppresses risk-taking. When accounted for, volatility decreases and trend clarity improves. But there's one more layer that fundamentally shapes Shedeur's evaluation: draft position. Shedeur Sanders was selected in the 5th round. That fact is mentioned constantly. Draft position is not a football skill. It is a probability estimate made before professional snaps are taken. Yet, in media analysis, it functions like a verdict. High-drafted quarterbacks are allowed to fail forward. Low-drafted quarterbacks are not. Mistakes by first-round picks are framed as development. Mistakes by late-round picks are framed as confirmation. This creates what we call draft capital pressure. We quantify this using the draft capital pressure index. It measures how late a quarterback was drafted, how often that draft position is referenced by media, how few mistakes are tolerated, and how quickly opportunity contracts after failure. Shedeur Sanders scores in the severe range. This does not mean he is treated unfairly. It means his margin for error is structurally smaller. When draft position becomes a constant reminder, it anchors interpretation. Every mistake feels heavier. Every success feels temporary. This pressure compounds with media scrutiny and environment difficulty. When we integrate all of this into a single model, we arrive at a refined evaluation. A fault-adjusted quarterback score, adjusted further for environment, media pressure, and draft capital bias. When this is applied to Shedeur Sanders, roughly 2/3 of the failure narrative disappears. Not defended, reclassified. What remains is inconsistency, learning phase decision speed, and situational aggression calibration. That is not disqualification. That is development. To test this further, we run an environment swap. Same quarterback, different conditions. When Shedeur is placed into a clean, supportive system, efficiency rises. When a media-approved quarterback is placed into Shedeur's environment, efficiency collapses. Same traits, different context, different story. This is not opinion, it is causality. The most important insight comes when we look at trajectory. Year 2 does not reveal who suddenly learned how to play quarterback. It reveals who we misunderstood in year 1. Quarterbacks with high environment difficulty and high narrative pressure often show delayed recognition. The media calls it a breakout. Analytics calls it inevitable. Shedeur Sanders has struggled, but struggle is not failure. Failure is the refusal to evaluate accurately. This framework does not ask for sympathy. It asks for precision. Quarterback performance is not a fixed trait. It is a response to pressure, support, expectation, and blame. When evaluation ignores those forces, it fails. When evaluation accounts for them, clarity emerges. This is not about defending Shedeur Sanders. It is about defending analysis. Not all failures are equal.